All right, ladies, let's talk about the 5 clearest signs that the guy you're dating, the guy you're talking to, is 1,000% into you, that he wants to build a long-term committed relationship with you, that he wants to potentially build a family with you, that this is not just about having fun with you, this is not just about a fling, right? If you're new here, my name is Lion. I'm a dating coach for women, so if that's something that you're interested in learning more about, please consider subscribing to this channel. Again, what I want to talk about today is the difference between words and actions, right? I'm not saying completely ignore what someone is saying, but I want to remind you that actions, right, speak a lot louder than words, just for the simple fact that they're a lot more difficult to fake over time. It's a lot easier for someone to go out and just say, I love you, I like you, I want to build a relationship with you. That's easy. See, I just said it right now, and it took me no effort. Right? It's a lot more difficult, however, for me to show that to you. It's a lot more difficult for me to show you over time that I want to build a relationship with you, that I really love you, and all of those things that you want in a partner. Right? So in today's video, again, I want to break down the 5 clearest signs, the things that you need to pay attention to, right? That has a lot to do with his actions and not just his words. So let's get right into it. All right, number 1, and I want to get this one right out of the way as quickly as possible. I feel like this should be the most obvious sign, but at the same time, it's the one I feel most women completely ignore, right? And this is, how much time does the guy invest in you? Right? I feel like so many of my clients, so many of my followers, so many of the comments that I sometimes read, right? A lot of women focus on whether or not the guy, says the right things, whether or not he says that he wants to build a relationship with you, whether or not he says that he has the same, relationship goals as you, whether or not he says that he enjoys spending time with you, etc., etc. But the number one sign that all of these things are true is him actually spending time with you. I want you to understand, right, that our time, right, is our most valuable resource, is the most valuable thing that we have on this earth. There's nothing more valuable than our time. It's the only thing that we'll never get more of. It's the only thing that we can never get back. So if someone shows you that they want to spend time with you, right? I'm not just saying quality time. They want to be there when you need them. They want to be there just to hang out with you. They want to be there just to listen to you. They want to, go on dates with you. They also want to just maybe hang out with you. They want to do... That's the biggest, absolute biggest sign, right? That someone is actually interested and is really into you and wants to build a relationship with you. Because again, a relationship is about spending more time with someone, right? Building a life with someone, moving in with someone just means basically that you're spending all of that time with that person. Right? So if someone shows you, especially at the early stage of dating, someone consistently shows you that they want to spend time with you, right? It's the biggest indicator that they're really into you. And I want to kind of say a couple of words about these exceptions. I feel like a lot of people make excuses, a lot of women especially. Guys make excuses for men so many times. Yeah, well, I know he wants to, but he's too fill in the blanks. He's too busy, or he has a lot of things going on right now, or he's work, blah, 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 or he lives too far, or he... XYZ reason. I've heard them all. And I'm sure, let me know which ones have you said before, right? Because I'm sure at some point, a lot of women just make these excuses for men to, justify this shitty behavior, right? Allowing men to basically just continue staying in your life and really focusing on them while they're really not giving you what you really deserve. And with this, spending time with you should be the absolute bare minimum of what you should expect when someone wants to build a relationship with you, right? So there are no excuses. I don't care how far they live. I don't care how busy they are. We all make time. We all prioritize the things that are important to us. Right? If I want to play more golf, I will prioritize that. If I want to spend more time with my kids, I will prioritize that. If I want to spend more time working and making money, I will prioritize that. Right? There is no such thing as a limited amount of time. We all have the same amount of time, and we get to choose what we want to invest our time in. Right? So if someone is consistently investing their time in you, choosing, by the way, to invest their time in you, that's the clearest indicator that they're into you. Stop making excuses for the other person and stop listening to them if they are the ones making the excuses. Oh, I'm too busy, or I got a lot of things going on. If you haven't seen them, if you start dating them and you're still in that honeymoon stage of dating and it's now been maybe weeks or months that you haven't seen them, that's the clearest sign that they're not that interested. Number two, and the second indicator that the guy you're dating is really into is where he tries to protect you. You see, protecting a woman is a man's natural instinct. And we do that for the women that we really, really care about. Right? So this comes out in a few different forms, right? It doesn't necessarily have to be, or it could be, but it doesn't necessarily have to be him protecting you in a, altercation or a fight on the street somewhere. Yes, you should be able to feel safe with your man, right? If you're walking down the street, you should feel that he would at least do whatever he possibly can do in order to protect you if a situation, would come up. Right? But he also comes down to the smaller things, right? If you're sick, if you're at home, you're not feeling too well, he's going to check up on you. He's going to try to, maybe even as cliche as that sounds, maybe he's going to try to, deliver you food if he's unable to come by himself. Or maybe he's going to drive over to your place himself and bring you some soup, or, at least make sure that you're doing okay. If you end up at a hospital for whatever reason, he's going to want to be there with you, right? Feeling that the person is there to protect you, right, is one of the most natural, healthy, masculine, feminine dynamic in dating and romantic relationships. A man always wants to protect the woman that he's with, right? And again, it could also shown in more simple things, like the way a man would, walk with you down the street, right? Does he walk on the outer side of the street towards the road and put you more towards the inside, him trying to protect you? As you maybe walking down the street, maybe it's late at night and there are, other people out there. He's always going to shield you, right? And he's going to do that subconsciously, but he's going to try to shield you from other people that he might potentially see as a threat. He's going to shield you with his own body, right? Notice these little tiny things and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about, right? A man's job is to essentially, first and foremost, to protect his own. Right? So if a guy is trying to protect you, and again, whether that maybe is an argument that you're having with your friends that not physically threatening, but he always is going to take your side. He's always going to protect your interest, whether you're right or wrong, it doesn't really matter. He's going to protect you, whatever situation may come up. Which brings us to number three, which is kind of related to what we talked about just now, but a man who's really interested in you, a man who wants to build a relationship with you, a man who wants to build a life with you is going to try as much as he can to solve your problems. Now, ladies, I want to tell you right off the bat that I know that sometimes you want to share your problems, you want to talk about things that are going on in your life, you want to talk about certain frustrations that you may have just because you want someone to listen to you, just because you want someone to just be there and hear what you have to say. I get that. Right? And this is within your feminine nature. But I also want to remind you that it is within our masculine nature to want to solve your problems, to want to solve the person that we care about, whether that's a girlfriend, a wife, maybe even our brothers and sisters, our friends. We want to solve their problems. We want to see other people around us, thrive and do well. So we want to help them solve their problems. This is kind of like a very natural thing within us that we want to be, and we are problem solvers. So if we hear you talking about certain things, right, whether that's, you need help moving, or whether that's a certain frustration that you might have with someone at work, or maybe that's something that you want to, work on within your personal life, or at the gym, or you have certain goals that you want to achieve, we're going to automatically get in the mode of trying to find solutions to that problem. And I know, again, some of you ladies may not want that necessarily, right? And I get that. And I get that sometimes you just want to share your problem just for the sake of getting it off your chest. But I want you to also understand that when we get into that whole problem solver mode, it's because we really, truly care. And if at the very least, look at that as a sign that someone is there for the right reasons, that someone wants to build a relationship, right? If you don't want our help, it's completely okay if you say, hey, by the way, I just want you to understand, like, I'm just sharing, I'm just venting. I just want to get it off my chest. And you're someone that I truly respect. You're someone that I truly trust to be able to get these things off my chest with, but I don't necessarily want you to do it. It's okay if you explain it to us, and maybe to a certain extent that will get us to maybe back off and not try to help, although we sometimes can't help it. But I want you to understand, if someone is trying to do that, if the guy you're dating, the guy you're in a relationship with is constantly trying to solve your problems and make your life easier, it's the clearest sign, right, that we care about you, then that we want to build something long-term with you. We would not, trust me, we would not do that with someone that we're just having quote-unquote fun with. We would not do that with someone that we're just in a fling with, where we just get what we want and we're out. So if we're there and we're going out of our way to try to help you with your stuff and try to solve your problems, we care. Number four, and this is a reminder that when it comes to sharing problems, when it comes to talking about things that we want to accomplish, it goes both ways. So if ever the guy that you're in a relationship with or the guy that you're dating comes up to you and starts opening up to you, right? He starts sharing about some of his struggles. Maybe he starts, sharing and confides in you in some of his fears, some of his insecurities, some of the things that he wants to accomplish, right? All of those things, right? So it's the clearest sign, again, that someone is really into you, because it's difficult to do for men. As a society and men, we are constantly taught to just keep these things to ourselves, right? We're not really encouraged as men to share these problems, to share some of our frustrations, to share some of our fears, especially to share some of our insecurities. We're not encouraged, in our society as men to do that. So if we feel that we can do that with you, right, and you'll see that shift within maybe a few weeks or maybe a few months of dating us, right, from being more or less closed off and not sharing all of these things and basically creating a facade that everything in our lives is just amazing and peachy and great. And then all of a sudden, maybe a couple of months or, into that relationship, we start changing that a little bit. We start becoming a little bit more real around you. We start opening up and talking about our frustrations, talking about some of our goals and things that we really want to accomplish, right? Take that for what it is. This is the biggest sign, again, that we really care about you, because we won't do that with anyone. We definitely, again, are not encouraged to do that. So when we do choose someone that we trust enough, that we like enough, that we love enough to be able to, open up with and start talking about these things, right? Again, take that for the sign that they're really, you know what I mean? Because it's difficult for us to do. It's very difficult for us to be able to open up and admit to other people, right? Especially to a woman, and especially to a woman that we care about. It's sometimes difficult for us to admit that, that we don't have everything, figured out. That sometimes we do have things that, scare us and make us insecure and all of those things. So if we do choose you, if we do, feel like you're that person that we can open up with, that's a huge sign that we really truly care, that we want to build something long-term with you, because that's what a real healthy long-term relationship is all about. It's about being able to support each other. So if we feel that you're that person for us, that's a clear sign that we really care. All right, number 5, and I like to finish with a big topic, but the 5th thing is probably one of my favorite signs, right? And the one that I feel most people really need to pay attention to. One of the things that I talk about a lot with my clients and a lot on my channel is boundaries, especially setting boundaries for yourself at the early stages of dating, right? Making sure that you lead by example, that you show respect for your own time, for your own body, for your own energy, and basically you're giving other people no choice but to either respect these same boundaries, or they just won't get any access to you, right? So the difference between someone who really wants to be there long-term, the difference between someone who wants to build a relationship with you, wants to build a life with you, versus someone who just wants to have a good time, versus someone who's just wants something while he's still looking for something, quote unquote, better to come along, right? The difference between these two guys is how he reacts and how he feels about your boundaries. One of the things that I love to hear most from the clients that I work with one-on-one is when they come and tell me, Lion, all of these things that we talked about, maybe about setting boundaries around, not engaging in kissing too fast, or not sleeping with them too quickly, or, like creating certain boundaries around your time and how you're dating and like what kind of access do they get to you at the early stages of dating, right? One of the things that I love to hear most is when my clients tell me how the guy that actually wants to be the right person that they have met is actually very appreciative and how he loved all of these things, right? Because boundaries kind of do two things at the same time. While they completely push away all those who are probably going to waste your time, all those who just want something nice and quick and fun and temporary, right? They don't like boundaries, because that just means that they need to work harder. That just means that they need to wait longer, right? So all of these people who are there to waste your time, all of these people who are just there for a good time, they hate boundaries. And they're not even going to be shy from being vocal about it. They're going to straight up tell you, hey, why do you have to make me wait that long? Or why can't I do this? Or I don't like that you have these boundaries. Or I don't like that you can't blah, blah, blah. Or you're so closed off. Or you're so standoffish. Or they just maybe just show you that they don't like it, but not answering the phone, to you. Or by not calling you back, by not asking you out on more dates. They're just going to completely take themselves out of the running. They're going to take themselves out of the equation. But at the same time, what boundaries also accomplish is those who actually want to be there for the right reasons. Boundaries to them is like music to their ears. They love seeing those things, right? Let me just give you a scenario. If a guy that you start dating, right, who actually wants to be there for the right reasons, who actually wants to potentially build a relationship with you, he's interested in getting to know you, and he wants to take this relationship as far as he can possibly can, right? Knowing that you respect your own body, knowing that you know what I mean? Like if you act this way with us, if you have boundaries with us, we automatically assume that you also have these boundaries with any other guy before us, right? And that's music to our ears. What guy doesn't want a woman, right, who respects herself, right? Because if you respect yourself with me, you probably respect yourself with all these other men that you might have potentially been with. And that's just an amazing sign. That's a clear, you know what I mean, sign that I want to have in a woman that I actually want to build a relationship with, is someone that respects herself, is someone who, you know what I mean, has these boundaries. So again, the guys who are there for the right reasons, the guys who are there and want to build a relationship with you, they won't even be shy from straight up even telling you, right? Just like a lot of my clients tell me, and again, this is one of my favorite things to hear, but they straight up tell them, hey, you know what? I love the fact that you made me wait for as long as you have. Or I love the fact that you didn't answer the phone when I called you late at night. I love the fact that, you know what I mean, that you seem to have it all figured out. That you weren't, you know, too open, that you weren't too, you know, hasty and in a rush to make things happen, that you weren't, you know what I mean, that you kept your guard at the beginning. I love the fact that you knew exactly what you wanted, and I love the fact that you had these boundaries at these early stages. It made me feel even more so that you're the type of person that I want to invest in, right? So again, pay attention to how does the guy that you're dating, react to your boundaries. Let me know in the comments if you want me to make a full video on boundaries. Just comment the word boundaries, and maybe I'll make a full video on some examples of what these boundaries should be like, and how you should set them and how not to set these boundaries, because there's definitely a right and a wrong way. But again, pay attention to how does the person you're dating is reacting to you having these boundaries. All right, ladies, this brings us to the end of this video. I hope you found this informative and helpful. If you did, give it a thumbs up and let me know in the comments, which of these 5 signs have you seen the most before? Which of these maybe you have never seen, and which one you would like to see more, you know, with the men that you are currently dating or will be dating in the future. I'll see you guys in the next one.